All right, put a one in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Put a one in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on a second here. Hold on. Put a one in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice. But hold on, guys. There you go. There you go. Let's try this again. Hey. Everybody. Good evening. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back in the lab, but I'm only on here to clear up some things. For those who were on the initial live, I want to be very clear. When I went live this morning, the hearing had not started. And I had to get to court, but you guys who saw the subsequent lives knew that I was actually in court. But I saw some of the comments on the other video when I came back. I'm like, wait a minute. What the heck is going on? I would never hoodwink you. I'd show up. And I showed up. And let me tell you how it went. I got a call from Real Talk Bougie. She said, Dennis, are you covering the hearing today? I'm like, no, wasn't really planning on it. I just covered 3 hearings like in the last 2 days. And I wasn't really planning on covering that hearing. You guys got to understand, I live about an hour away from the court, an hour. And it wasn't on my schedule. Every hearing that Nestor Williams has, please don't expect me to be there. I'll be there for the trial. But the hearings, they're going to have motion hearings and they're going to have motion hearings up until trial date. But if not for Real Talk Bougie asking me to go to court, and she knew I wasn't having the camera there, but she knew I would be reporting from the courtroom. And as you guys saw in the subsequent lives, I was reporting. I showed up. And I appreciate you, Real Talk. Thank you, Real Talk. And see, Real Talk, no. Real Talk, shout out to Real Talk Bougie in the building. But listen, guys, I got a little I guess I can tell you guys. I don't know if I can tell you yet. Something's going down tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Something's going down tonight. And I don't know if they want me to tell them because it's like the secret party, Christmas party that a bunch of content creators had been invited to come to. And I was a bit apprehensive as to whether or not I wanted to show up. Because the person that invited me, I wasn't really on board with her at first. But I said I was going to show up. The trial for the YSL case is over for these particular defendants. When they told me who was coming, I said I was going to pull up. Oh, no. You're not going to leave me out the room. I'm coming. I'm going to pull up. And to show those who have watched the cover for the YSL trial over the course of 2+ years, I think it's important for all those content creators that were really grinding and doing what they had to do to cover the case, get their flowers. Some may deserve thorns, but most of them deserve flowers because they covered this case. It's not easy covering a case. So when I covered this hearing today, I covered it as if I was covering a federal case where no cameras, no electronic equipment is allowed. But fortunately, there were 2 cameras in the courtroom. There was Wisdom Daughter, shout out to Wisdom Daughter, And then there was Pammy Pam. Her cameraman was in the building as well. I used to be the cameraman, but that's another story. But I don't follow Rule 22s unless I know that I can actually make it, or if I might have a conflict. But what I decided to do is I'm gonna file one, and it's gonna be a blanket one to cover it to the conclusion of this trial, and then leave it at that. And if I happen to be able to show up, then you guys will see my camera in the courtroom. But I think you more want me in the courtroom, don't you? Because if I'm in the courtroom, I can come back out and give you guys the updates. If I had a camera there, then it's hard for me to come back out and give you updates because I have to man the camera. And part of what's on the Rule 22 is if I'm the camera operator, I have to man the camera. And it's not easy manning the camera and to give you guys updates. So in theory, I wouldn't have been able to, if I was manning the camera, I wouldn't have been able to come out and give you guys updates. So with that said, I want to thank all those who have supported the coverage for today. It didn't start out right, but it ended up better. But I have a little axe to grind. I got to be at this other show at 6:30. But why my last video? Can you guys tell me what the heck happened in my last video I did? Why was that crazy woman screaming in my live like someone was trying to record her? Like, I'm literally not even interested, even acknowledge that person, but she wants to scream out over the live. And I just had to end it because I wasn't even doing that. I really wasn't even doing it. I wasn't trying to do that. It gets to a point where, I stopped making videos about the person, but I'm gonna have to turn back up on her. I left her alone. I'm gonna have to turn back up because this is my profession. If I'm talking to you, I don't want no one interrupting because this is our relationship. It's you and me, and not any exterior noise. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption and I apologize for the confusion. And if I say I'm gonna show up somewhere, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up. You see, I be showing up. So don't ever think I'm on it like that other person. I'm not on it like that. I'm not ever. Right. But I'm on a live, and you guys heard. Whoever was on that live earlier, you heard the noise. You heard the noise in the background. You heard the noise. But let me say something. Today, and I got 5 minutes. I have to go to the other channel. Today, Hoover, he did okay, but he was talking too fast. He had to slow up. Hoover, I know you're going to see this. You were doing good because the minute he got Detective Phil's razzled, he was winning because I think she was trolling him too because she had made a comment about she didn't talk to the dog or something because they had a canine dog to sniff out Nestor's car, sniffing his car. And he had asked us, I got to look at my notes, but he asked her a question. And then she came back and said, let me grab my bag. I have my bag right here. Hold on. Let me grab my notes real quick. It was funny because I'm like, and I asked her in the hallway, I said, Detective Fields, are you trolling the defense? I'm like, I thought she was trolling the defense. Hold on. What was that comment that she made? Hold on. We go old school. We write notes down here. We go old school. Let's see. What the heck did she say to him? Well, before I go to her notes, what Hoover said of the detective and her colleagues was that they conspired, they lied to get to the truck. So she's saying that they lied to get inside the truck. While the judge hadn't ruled on it, but he he made an interesting argument, and I was trying to see if I can get a reaction out of this judge, you know, by way of an expression or something. But he even had to point out to the Mr. Hoover that he was just talking a little too fast. But let me see what the quote was. Oh yeah, so Detective Phillips said when he asked the question in relation to the dog, he responds, "I'm not going to speak for a dog." What are you talking about? The dog is a dog. You can't speak for the dog. You can. Well, that was kind of crazy because you can't really speak for a dog because you're not, unless you talk dog language. But I think he got under her skin and she got a little agitated because that was the first time I seen her not keep her cool. So how is this going to play out during the trial if he keeps up that not the line of questioning, but keep up that tempo for her? It's going to get pretty interesting. It's going to get pretty interesting because he's not a slouch. I'll say that Hoover's not a slouch, and Wooten is not a slouch. And it was another point in the hearing where before Will Wooten got up and started going into his actual argument, he told the judge essentially that what Hoover represented wasn't an actual depiction of what really happened as it related to him. Basically, he was saying that Hoover made some, kind of not tarnish his name, but accuse him of some things that wasn't the fact. And something else that happened that I was wondering, why didn't Hoover submit a list of all the items that he had an issue with to the prosecution before they had to argue this motion in front of the judge? Because what Wooten said was that, Your Honor, had we known what was on the list that they wanted to object to, we could have probably resolved it before it got in front of Your Honor. And the judge probably was thinking like, dang, they could have did this because this is a lot of time wasted, or maybe not. So I think it was a tactical reason why Hoover did not send them a list of things that they wanted to have excluded. Because if they sent a list of things, it would probably give the prosecution a tactical advantage. But by doing it this way and making it an emotion, leaving it up to the judge to suppress certain things, they can get things suppressed that they might not have gotten suppressed or gotten omitted with the prosecution. And they could have signaled to the prosecution that these are their strongest areas of concern. And if you think, if the prosecution knows what is more concerning to them in advance, then they're probably going to position their argument to challenge those items. So I understood what Hoover did. He did not want to tip his hat. It was a tactical decision. And while I get what Wooten was saying, but this is about not showing your hand till you have to actually show your hand. So that's what happened. That's what I believe happened. Yeah, he probably did. You say he mentioned it from the last hearing. I don't recall what happened at the last hearing, but in any event, it was interesting that I was a little impressed with Hoover today. I said a little. I got to see. Listen, let's see what happens when you get in front of the jury. But he was able to get this detective, who arguably was only on the job for 4 years, razzled a little. So I thought that was interesting. But let's see what the judge decides. Right. Someone said you got to know when to hold. You got to know when to hold. You don't show your cards. You can just tell us what you want. And we'll let's cheat. No. We're not telling you jack. You guys are trying to put my client away for life. We're not going to tell you what we don't want in there. If they get that laptop out there, that laptop held a treasure trove of information. If they can get that excluded, if it's fruits of the poisonous tree, in this case, it would be fruits of the poisonous tree in the next case. So I get it. If that laptop, the cell phone, anything that may have compromising stuff like images on it, and they can get it excluded, then they won. The defense won. So while I know Wooten's like, Honor, we didn't have to waste our time with this. He could have told us, nah. That's not really his job to do. His job is to defend his client. And I get it. So you guys saw it. Just said who held his own. Yeah, he did. Today he held his own. I'm like, okay. I like that. I like what you was doing. But Wooten ain't no slouch either. Now I'm gonna tell you. I covered the hearings for the Trump case, the election interference case, and Wooten held his own. Very impressive, very sharp, and I think just we haven't seen the best of either one of them yet. I would just say that we have not seen the best of either one yet. I expect as it comes closer to the trial, it's going to get spicy, and I will be there. I promise you, I will be there. So with that, I have another live to be on. And I would just say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be on a live with Kayla Bumpus. I can say that now. That's what I'm heading over to. I'm going over there. They invited me to the party. And guys, stop asking me about my motion filings. Don't ask me about my motion filings. Just trust. When it's time for me to be there, I will be there with Big Bertha. And I still haven't named the big camp. I haven't named that yet, but I'm gonna name it soon. But don't ask me. Did you follow? Don't ask me questions like that. That annoys me when people say, "Did you do this? Did you do?" No, don't ask me that. Just ask me, Mr. Byron, are you going to be there? And will you bring Big Bertha? But don't ask me how you did that. Because you can look at the docket and see whether or not I did that. Don't ask me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go to another live. I'm committed over there, but I will be back. I appreciate you. I really do. And shout out to Real Talk Bougie. Always support. And shout out to Wisdom Daughter. She got some good footage, ladies and gentlemen. She got some good footage. Well, it looked good in the camera. I haven't heard the sound, because footage is sound and visual. But I'm assuming she got the good stuff. Like, I'm going to tell you something before I leave. If I walk in there with Big Bertha, I come in with this. If you know about audio, if I don't come in with this, it makes no sense. Because here I can hear the heartbeat. I didn't walk in with that today. So when I go in there, I'm going to go in there prepared. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. I'll see you guys on the next live. But I got to get ready for this other show. I got to, get my hair and makeup done. I ain't got no hair, but I got to do. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. I'm going to see you. I promise I'll see you soon. I really will. Peace.